plenty of mental and emotional challenges faced by everyone. Today, on the Bomberos on Fire podcast, we delve deep into the heart of this issue. My name is Armando, and today we're shedding light on a topic that's close to our heart: mental health. Not just in the firefighting community, but also to everyone else, because everyone has a bone in this fight. This is a conversation that's long overdue. We'll be discussing the unique challenge we face, sharing personal stories, and exploring ways to improve our mental well-being. With insights from experts, personal testimony, and actionable strategies, we aim to ignite a conversation that can make a difference. Because just as we fight fires, take care of people, and work in a stressful environment, we must also combat the internal struggles that many of us face. This is not just for firefighters, but everyone else living on this planet. Together, we can build a community of support, understanding, and healing. Join us as we journey through the art of conversation, seeking light and hope for everyone. Be safe. Welcome.
Good morning, people. My name is Armando. I'm from Fire Rescue Group and Bomberos on Fire podcast. And I'm here with the pleasure and humble about being with this person over here, an expert. And I'm really passionate about this subject. But before we start, I want to say hi and thank you for listeners around the world. Now I have people from Poland, which I'm happy. yes, dobre. And it's been a journey for me the past couple of weeks, but we finally made it happen. From Fire Rescue 1 CBD, John, please, the floor is yours. Introduce yourself. What do you do? And we can start from there.
Yeah, Armando, thank you so much for having me, man. This is an absolute pleasure. I love talking about this stuff, and glad you got the international flavor going strong. You know, you got everybody everywhere. Yeah. That's awesome. John Vogt, Rescue 1 CBD founder and firefighter with about 15 years on. Recently got promoted to captain, and I'm in South Florida, a little bit south of you, brother. And been there my whole career. I love it. It's the best job in the world. Second generation firefighter. My mother is a captain with the Palm Beach County Fire Department near me.
Oh.
And she's my inspiration for getting in the fire service and kind of showed me the way. Started Rescue 1 CBD 3 years ago. The short and sweet version is we make CBD safe for firefighters. We've had thousands of firefighters take our products with zero failed drug tests. That's what we're most proud of. So we want to deliver all the benefits of CBD without having the negative side that obviously everybody's worried about, failing a drug test. So we work really hard to make sure that we have pure stuff. And, I'm also a very strong advocate for research into CBD, and we're working on getting some of that done so we can present info to the IFF, as well as, going and advocating to other fire departments, helping them with policy, going to FDIC and being there every year and trying to get the word out and things like that. So those are my two biggest passions, is the fire service and that, little stuff. I'm also a bagpiper. I saw you on your podcast recently.
Really?
You had you had one of your guys from Reedy Creek that I believe I've met him before. And I was just at the National Fallen Firefighters Memorial in Colorado Springs. I know there was a bunch of Reedy Creek bagpipers there. I met several of them. Pretty cool. So I'm sure I've run into them at some point. There's not that many of us, so like we all play together. We all meet each other eventually. I've been playing for 10 years, so I know I played with them before. And I run our cadet program at my fire department. So that's my third job that I absolutely love.
You got 3 jobs.
Yeah, and they're awesome, man. God. I'm a very blessed guy that I get to do all that stuff. I'm very proud of all the stuff that I get to be a part of, and I just want to do the best I can with each one of those. So that's me.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job, Captain. Congrats.
Thanks, man.
That's not easy. That's not easy. I didn't know you knew the Puerto Rican bagpiper, Jose. That's actually awesome. The words is small.
I'm half Puerto Rican, so very
Oh,
small.
there you go.
So how many Puerto Rican or half Puerto Rican bagpipers do you think there are? There can't be that many.
Now
Especially
I know
in the
two.
fire service. Now you know
I
two,
know
bro.
two. That's
Man.
it.
The statistics are pretty high, I guess. I don't know.
Oh, I will talk to him. He'll want to come back to the podcast now. I'm pretty sure he wants to.
Let's do it. He's probably
way better than me. But. Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. Yeah. Small world.
Small.
And so you basically taking care of the people joining the brand new firefighters coming to the service and the cadet program, and just mold them to be better, which is come along with CBD and mental health and everything that you're doing so far, and putting the firefighter legacy and traditions up, because bagpiping is a tradition for us for many, many years. I don't know how many years. I'm not that expert on that, but I love the music. They love it in Poland, by the way. So you guys have a fan in Europe. I noticed that. Everybody asking for the same. The guy's like, hey, piping, like piping what? It's specific, bro. That's
like smoking a pipe. Like what pipe?
Yeah, I'm from Florida, so piping for me is different meaning.
I gotta be careful.
So talking about the CBD, like I said, you have a uphill battle because it's hard to change people mentality and perception. Is when I talk about it, at least where I work, people get like kind of, they like it, but they don't want to say it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like on the closet, kind of like, yeah, I love it, but I said, bro, just go to a doctor, get your prescription, get your license, and then and just be open about it. Like the more we talk about it, to me, is better.
Right. Yeah, I agree, and it's a hard thing because I understand where the mentality is. I get it. Man, how long has it been since we've had this marijuana is bad thing, and we've had a very, very negative view of it for ever. I'm 35. I grew up with the DARE program in middle school. Like, THC is a gateway drug, marijuana is a gateway drug. It's going to lead to your death. Like that's basically what they taught us when I was younger. So it was always very like hard to think that. When I started this, it was hard to think that I'm going against that mentality. That's what I'm fighting against. So yes, it is hard, but I don't blame people for thinking like that, because it's been beat into our heads for decades. So exactly. I just want everybody to understand that I'm an advocate for medical marijuana. I totally believe that it's got its indications and that it can provide its benefits. I also want people to know that CBD isn't made from marijuana. It's not the same thing. So like a lot of people think, yes, CBD is weed, and it's just not. So it's made from a totally different plant and has totally different effects. And that's part of the education too.
So what plant the CBD comes from? Can you explain that to people that also know to listen to the podcast somewhere around the world?
Yeah, marijuana is the cannabis plant, but there are many different species of cannabis, and the one that we make CBD from, what classifies cannabis as hemp is if it's cannabis sativa and if it has less than 0.3% THC by weight. So they can grow this cannabis sativa plant, and the flowers that grow off of it are what we extract all the CBD out of. Up to 40% of that flower can be pure CBD. So, you grow, a kilogram of flowers, you can get, you get almost half a kilogram of CBD out of it. So there's all of this extraction that happens, but there's a small amount of THC in there, like 0.3%. And so my job is to extract the CBD out of the flower and keep that and get rid of all the THC. So it is still made from a type of cannabis plant, but it's not marijuana. It's cannabis sativa with 0.3% THC or less. So there's the big difference, is that if you took a hemp plant right out of the field and smoked it, you wouldn't get high. It might look and smell exactly like a marijuana plant, but there's relatively little or no THC in there compared to marijuana, which if you smoke marijuana, you'll get very intoxicated. And hemp doesn't produce that. It's That's what they make rope out of, and
Yes.
textiles and things. And in our case, it happens to be the most efficient way to get CBD out of a plant, because you can get CBD out of marijuana, but there's almost no CBD in most marijuana strains. There's very, very, very little. So it's mostly THC, which gets you really high. So you would have to extract several times more. You would need several times more plants of marijuana to get the same amount of CBD than just using hemp. So that's the other thing that's why we use it that way, is because it's just more cost effective. I would need a whole field of marijuana to get the same amount of CBD that I just need like an acre to get out of hemp. Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, the yield is very different. So hemp is like almost 40% pure CBD. Marijuana is only like 1 or 2% CBD. So you would need, like, in some cases, 40 times the amount of weight of marijuana to get.
Exactly.
And species vary. Like you can get some marijuana that has different blends of stuff. You can get way higher CBD if it's made for that. This is where all the funny names come from marijuana. So you can have ones that are like Sour Diesel or OG Kush or like Pineapple Express, all that stuff. Those actually mean something. Those are strains that have different percentages of cannabinoids like CBD and THC in it. So it's a funny name, but they actually do have a purpose and a meaning behind them. So Charlotte's Web, very popular CBD company, is a strain of hemp that they patented. And so Charlotte's Web is an actual strain, and it's very, very, very high CBD and almost no THC.
Wow, I didn't know that you extract the CBD from hemp.
Yes.
I thought it was coming from the plant, like the marijuana plant. So
yeah,
that's actually make it even cleaner and most effective for us that we work on this field. Yeah. We need to be awake and alert. You know how it is. 3 o'clock in the morning clock call for driving in the middle of the highway.
Exactly.
That's actually interesting. That's actually interesting. And about the law, I know you're also you're trying to push that to approve of the IFF. How that stuff going? How the process have to go, and how you doing on that process?
It's a weird process. The IFF is very from people I've spoken to in the IFF as far as national leadership. They're very open to it. I mean, the IFF is just to give you an example, Stephanie White is someone who writes for Fire Engineering. She's a firefighter in Fairfax County, Virginia, and she writes she writes articles for Fire Engineering and has a podcast, the 5 After Midnight podcast, where she talks a lot about newer stuff with, being proactive about wellness, including mental health. But she has a big thing on her podcast about medical marijuana. And the IFF, actually, the director of research, has approached her directly to say, hey, we need your help to help us write a toolkit for policy so that other fire departments can use this thing that you create to help them bring marijuana into their fire departments. That's how proactive they are with it. Now, it's not like they're trying to say we're going to make a policy next year that says all fire departments are allowed to use marijuana, but they're saying if you guys are going to start making this step to get it into your department, let's get a toolkit in place that you can use. And so she's going to write this framework that allows fire departments to say, like, if I wanted to create a policy for medical marijuana, here are the steps that I would take. And the fact that they are asking her to do that so that they can do this for other fire departments, I think says how committed they are to it. But also, they have used the city of Pittsburgh Fire Department, Local 1. They have medical marijuana. They've had it for 6 years. And they use them as a case study and as an example to say, look at these guys. They used marijuana for the last 6 years. Their driving accidents didn't get any worse. They actually got a little better. Their sick time went down. Their EAP calls went down. Their guys getting in trouble off duty, like for with the law, went down. I mean, they have a significant increase in all the things that you want to increase. They had all the good things go up and all the bad things went down. And so, it's not, I'm not saying that marijuana did that, but I am saying it didn't make it worse. Like it's not this nightmare that everybody thinks. And, when you talk to your chiefs and policymakers, they think as soon as we let this stuff happen, it's going to unleash all these problems. And in reality, the biggest case study we have, it hasn't shown to do that. The New York City Fire Department allowed marijuana also. So
I heard that.
the battle is not, I believe, and I'm not saying that CBD and marijuana are the same thing, but a lot of times people put the two together because they do come from the parent cannabis plant, but hemp versus marijuana, whatever. But the battle is still one and the same, like you're saying. It's not with the IFF leadership. It's with the individual, like the fire chief, the firefighter, the captain, the person who believes that this stuff is, marijuana, or that it's bad for you, or whatever else, or that you can't make it properly to pass a drug test. So it's really interesting, man, because I feel like there's two battles, right? There's one that's going really, really well with, the leadership and up high. And then there's the individual where it's like hit or miss. When I go to FDIC and I'm standing at the booth, I see 50,000 people walk by. The majority of them walk by and they look at me and they're like shaking their head. I'm like, you have any questions? And they're like, just like angry with me. They don't even want to talk to me. And then there's some people that come by and they're like, man, this is amazing. I've always wanted to try CBD, but I didn't know that you can make it safe for the job. And so it's weird. I try not to worry about all the negative stuff. I just focus on the positives. It's hard to do sometimes. But overall, I would say it's going great, man, because if the business is any indication of how we're doing, I mean, we've grown the last 3 years, so it can't be bad. Like, people are doing it, right?
Yeah, you're doing something good. It's like you said, it's nothing going bad. So talking about that mentality, I saw that too on my travels, that the old mentality of the old times, that they don't want to adapt to the change, or at least embrace it, is hard to break. Those habits are bad to break. And I feel you when people passing by with a mean look, or salty, or you doing this, destroying the fire service. No, you're not. You're helping way better sometimes, especially mental health, to those firefighters that need it. And probably the young people is the one approaching you, and the old guys are the ones getting you the bad look.
Sometimes pretty sure it's what's crazy, man, is that's how it started, right? Like, it was all the young guys going like, oh yeah, this is great, and all the older guys are thinking this is weed and they don't want anything to do with it. But the last year it flipped, and our demographic is the older guys.
Really?
Yeah, because all of the sleep issues and all of the pain from being on the job for a long time starts to show up later.
Yeah.
So if you're a rookie, your sleep hasn't been ruined yet. I mean, maybe it has, but odds are that it's not going to start getting bad until you have a few years on, So a lot of guys that have the sleep issues and the torn rotator cuffs and the bad knees and all this stuff, they come to me, because they're like, hey, look, man, I've never tried CBD before. I don't know what this stuff is, but my shoulder's bad and I still want to work for another 5 years. So I don't want to be on pain medication for 5 years. What do you got? Like what can we do with this? Those are the guys that are starting to realize, maybe before they were very hesitant to it, and now they go to the doctor and they're like, would you like surgery, disability, pain medicine? There's no, for us, there's not that many options. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
If I worked at a desk, sure. But guys like riding on the truck. I want to ride the truck until I retire. I don't want to work in an administrative position for my whole career. And if you want that, you have to take care of your body, and the job beats you up. So it is really interesting. It did start to flip, which it's kind of cool to think about, because you're like, that to me said, we're changing for the better. We understand the benefits, and it's very different. It's kind of cool. It's really cool.
And it makes sense. Now that you talk about it, it makes sense. Those guys are 5 years before retirement, 1 year before retirement. They don't want to get injured, and they're probably in pain most of the day. And I feel I've been in the service for 10 years, and my sleep is all messed up. It makes completely sense. Those guys say, hey, I don't want to go to surgery, because then you get, like you said, you bit medical leave, and you don't want to do it because you ruin retirement, ruin whatever. You don't want to get a surgery. because then you delay everything. So this is one. At least you give it an option.
Yeah.
And the rookie guys, they don't know better yet.
Yeah. They luckily, you know, when you're young, you don't realize all the damage you're doing. Yeah, everyone wants to be a trucker. Everybody wants to be a hero. You know, nobody's afraid of staying up all night. Nobody's afraid of injuries. And they sneak up on you. And you know, speaking of battles, that's another battle. When I try to talk about this, and I know you've had this many times because you talk about mental health. But if you try to talk to people about what the job does to you as far as your sleep, your mental health, or anything else, and then you say, I'm going to try to make it better, a lot of people respond and say, if you can't handle it, quit. Yes. You're like, brother, that's not what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say that I like staying busy. I like working. I like being on calls, but I want to make it 30 plus years.
Exactly.
There's nothing wrong with trying to work hard at the job and also taking care of yourself. There's nothing wrong with that, you know? And I think it gets twisted. Guys think like, I'm trying to say, I don't want to be up after midnight. I'm like, check your tone. Like, you don't know who you're talking to. I like working on busy trucks. You know, it's funny because I think, I don't even want to try to unpack the psychology of this, but I think people might feel like they're worried about what may come of this, or that you're attacking them or something, you know what I mean? Yes. And they like start lashing out and you're like, dude, relax. This isn't personal. I'm only saying, if you're going to work on a busy truck for your whole career, you think you're going to be able to do that for 30 years and not have your body break down? So do you want to live after retirement? Do you want to make, like, I want to work on a busy truck for 30 years. I want to be able to go to fires and not have to worry about my shoulder ripping off, you know?
Yeah, my hips and my knees. My neck.
Dying of cancer when I'm 60 because I didn't get 1 ounce of sleep my whole career, you know? Like, exactly. You can help, like, work hard when you're on duty, work all night after midnight if you want, do all that stuff. When you get home, take care of yourself, you know? Yes. That's all I'm saying. And that's the one that I really want to break down, that I really want to stop, is like people going, I'll sleep when I'm dead. Stop being a wuss. If you can't hack it, quit. I'm like, so there's and that's all generations. That's not just the young guys or the old guys. That's everybody. That's the one that really freaking bothers me. That's the one I want to stop.
Yeah, I had the same problem with people talking about mental health. They tell me that I can do the job, or what? You should retire. You're not shrink. You should, like, Jesus, I'm just trying to tell you, well, you got options.
Right.
You got options.
Yeah,
look, if you need a break because it's a lot of stress in your, not just in the fire department, outside, your family, anything could happen. Just take a break. Take 1 day off. I mean, do something. You don't have to go to a mental health coach. I mean, I would like you to go, but if you don't have to, go work out, go fishing, go do something. It's just take away your mind out of the situation. And I have so many people just like, it's like hitting a wall. Yeah. Because I think it's the pride, one, the culture, that we don't need help. We're the people to give help. And I think that's the big one, is the pride, the ego. Like, whoa, you tell me, and I'm the alpha, beta, delta, macho guy. Like, yeah, I get it, bro.
Exactly.
You Navy SEAL, hands for you. But even Navy SEAls have to go to rehab, and they have to take care of themselves. They have to go to the beach and relax.
Yeah. Yeah, Navy SEAls take time off, man. We have a guy on my department that was a former SEAL. You know, he's a captain, and he'll tell you all about it. He's the first person to tell you. He's like, you can only do it for so long. You know, something's got to give. Either you're going to take time off, or your mind or your body will break. You know, and there is a balance. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you do. It's just physiology. Your brain will not handle. Yeah. You know what's crazy? You will die of lack of sleep almost as fast you'll die of lack of water. You know, if you stopped sleeping and you stopped drinking water, you know, those two things, you can only live X amount of days. I don't remember what it is. It's less than a week, but you know, if you have about a week of no sleep, you'll die. If you have, you know, you could stop eating. We have a guy that works in my department. He fasts for a month at a time. I don't know how he does it.
I can.
You know, he like supplements with minerals and vitamins and stuff, but he'll fast for 30 days. for religious purposes. And after like the second week, he's like, yeah, I'm just used to it now, man. He's like, it's all good. And that's food. You'd think that's so critical. Your body can sustain itself on your reserves and all this stuff with no food. But if you don't sleep, you won't make it 30 days, like that's how critical this stuff is. But we don't look at it like that. And it's all tied to mental health as well. There's no mental health diagnosed issue in DSM that doesn't have sleep as a contributing factor. It's all related. So that's why like the sleep one is really important to me. And I'm like, I know we work all night after midnight. I'm not saying that you can't tough it out. I'm saying like get your sleep fixed when you get home. So what are you guys work at 24/48? No Kelly?
Yeah, we 24/48 with Kelly days, not like you guys 24/72.
Yeah.
Yes. We try to go to your system, and well, you've seen the news, so
yeah. Lots
Politics.
and I think you guys are around the same size as us. You have like 200 guys, 250 guys, something like
that. Probably because we got 4 stations and we got at least on shift, I think 35 people.
Right. Okay.
Per shift. So kind of roughly, and we're trying to hire more people. We're in the process to, I think, December or January. I don't know because I'm not work for that, but I do work for the training department. That's my overtime. So
nice.
Yeah, I will see those guys over there at some point.
It's it ends up being a lot. When you have a Kelly, it's like you can recover a little bit, but
oh my God, it's
when you have several nights in a row of bad, if you have one shift where you have bad sleep, you need several days to recover. Oh, yeah. So the 24/48, even the 24/72, it's good. The 72 is good, but it's still not enough. And the Kelly is pretty good, but like you said, that's why you have to have breaks. You have to have time during the year where you can take a couple of weeks or a few weeks.
Yeah, just
and have time off. Maybe you go to Poland, hang out.
With some vodka, with some potato-based vodka.
When you were over there, did you have like an actual vacation, or were you running around like you had a podcast going, you were working?
I was working. I was teaching RIT because they have that concept is foreign outside the US.
Really?
Yes. I before I travel to Europe, I went to Spain, Portugal, and like every fireman, I want to go to the fire station. Let me meet people. Yay.
Oh yeah.
And I ask because that's what my passion is, RIT and survival and all that crap. And
cool.
And I asked the guy, I said, well, RIT? Like, what is that? I went to England and I asked, hey, what is RIT? Like, no, we just don't do interior attack, or we just let people die inside. And
that's right. They don't really do interior. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, so you guys don't go and if something happened, have a group of people, somebody to help the fireman down. No, if you're next to him, great. If not, we'll start bringing the pipes and drums, guys, and start playing the music and shit.
Jeez.
Oh, it's rough. So
yeah, crazy.
In Poland, they start a movement of RIT. I don't know how or why, and I connect to the guy, and I was able to go there, collaborate with their team, and somehow, some way, I was invited to do like a talk. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll do a talk. I'm thinking about going to a fire station, group of guys, whatever. No, I'm going to the Commander-in-Chief Firefighter Talk, the 10th anniversary conference, which is huge in Poland. Yeah, because I didn't know what was inside. Well,
wow.
The funny thing is, in Poland, the firefighter service is like a military. It's one guy, chief of the whole country.
Okay.
And then they spread, like a military, captains, commanders, whatever. So
yeah,
it's good if you want to make a change, because all have to say one thing and the next day will be done. But sometimes they can take years to make any change, because it depends on only one guy in the whole country.
Yeah.
So that guy was on the conference.
Wow. That's amazing.
So I did my best to represent us, because American firefighter for them is like, oh my God, you guys are cowboys, you guys are wild, you guys doing roof ops? You guys, yeah, that's
Right. Yeah, they
that's
think
what we
we're
do.
crazy.
Oh, you guys wearing the funny hats? Like, no, that's actually a real helmet. You guys wearing a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah, we had the original. We had the first one.
Yeah, and I was funny because I was able to actually try their outfit and their bunker gear.
What'd you think?
Oh, the bunker gear, I'll keep ours. I don't mind care what they say. The helmets. Oh, I start it for what they have is great, but for like covers your ears. Let's start from there. You have no audio. You cannot hear shit around you.
Ooh.
It's bad. Yeah, it's lighter. It's more comfortable and protects you more for PPE purpose and safety. I'll give it to them because it protect your neck and all that and is enclosed. But for actually doing the job, I think our helmet style is well, maybe because I'm used to it, but it's more how you say it, more related to our job. Because still protect us, but like I told the guys over there, if they got a risk situation, need to go through a hole, they have to remove the helmet and the mask because it won't fit.
Yeah,
that's a big no-no for us.
I'm already out.
I take my helmets all day, but not my mask.
Yeah, I'm already out. That's
yeah,
that's right. It's integrated. Yeah. So mask
integrated.
up time is probably fast, but if you ever have to take off your
for
helmet,
us, no, for us, mask is faster than them
really?
because on the back of the mask, they use MSA and Dragger. Instead of being a net, is leather or plastic. So they show me like, you guys, yeah, and the SCBA are from like one generation before whatever we have here. So the old MSA, the old Dragger, the old Scott, they don't have a rapid RQI connection. They don't have it on the pack. They only have the body breathing.
Wow. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
They only can change the mask or the regulator. That's it.
Damn.
And in Poland, they're not allowed to do body breathing. In Poland, they're not allowed to use body breathing system because at some point somebody got caught, they melted, somebody died, so they're forbidding them to do body breathing system. So you basically can do is just swap. It's a whole system, and I like I told them, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm just showing you this another way. This is a tool for you guys if something happened. And I try to mold the class to their needs, to whatever they have.
That's probably the best way to do it. Yeah, like change, come slowly, and also it's not dangerous, but it's very difficult to go to somebody and especially a whole country that's been doing it for so long.
Yeah, especially the guy's like, and I have a translator. So on the conference, every 3 sentences I have to wait until the translator in Polish and then back to.
Yeah,
so it took away the flow of the. So it's take your flow away, kind of. You have to wait.
It's interesting, and I know a lot of people in Poland do speak English pretty well, but I imagine that it's if you're speaking to a huge audience, you don't know. Yeah,
I don't know. So they died to me. So the cool thing, I put all my presentation in Polish, so they like that, and we'll see.
How'd you do that? You had like paid somebody to translate, or
Google Translate, bro, and hope for the best.
You're like, hey, fair warning, this was done by a robot. I don't know how well it is.
Okay. Hey, ChatGPT is amazing, so hopefully nothing. If it's look kind of weird, is I try my best, but at least I got in Polish. And
it's awesome.
it is. They're like a family. They treat me like a family. They are a strong community, strong people. They will never give up, and they're open to a lot of things. It's just like your example. You can go there and talk about it.
Yeah,
they're open about it, and I might talk to the guy who is the leader on cancer prevention. Maybe you got a chance at next conference, because I didn't know I was in the conference until the day off.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. Like I thought it was a talk, and then you're in the conference. This is your name. Like, oh shit. Oh, okay. Let's swing it. See what happens.
Yeah. I'm trying to advocate for a lot more research. I think right now, the one we're trying to do right now is a study to show CBD does not cause a failed drug test in firefighters. That's the most important one. Safety. That's a big one.
Yes.
CBD, if you make it properly, anyway, because there's CBD. There's a type of CBD called full spectrum, and that's basically when you take the hemp plant and you extract it, you don't remove anything out of it. You leave all of the THC in there that naturally comes in there. You leave all of the waxes and oils and everything else that comes out of the plant. And it's because of that, it has a little bit of THC in there, and it will make you fail a drug test. So there is a type of CBD called full spectrum that still has THC in it, and that'll make you fail a drug test. We isolate the CBD from it. So we take everything else out except CBD, and we add that, and we add another cannabinoid, CBG, in one of ours.
Yes.
We have a sleep formula that we put a lot of those other waxes in, like the oils that make you feel tired. So the sleep one is called out of service. We only use that off duty, because if you take it, it'll make you feel tired. So you don't want to take it when you're going to go to work. Yeah, because you'll be out of service. That's the idea.
Exactly.
So
that's awesome.
We do have that first study coming up, and then I want to start working on studies that show what CBD does to your sleep, what it does to inflammation. Because to research, there is some preliminary research about CBD and cancer, that it is potentially an anti-cancer agent, that it's an anti-tumor agent, which is great, but that research needs that needs millions of dollars, and it's going to take years and years and years. I want to impact firefighters directly, and I think our problem with cancer is a very complex one in the fire service, and I know that sleep is a big part of it. So whenever we talk about cancer in the fire service and CBD, where CBD has a role, I don't like to try to say like it's an anti-cancer thing. I just say, look, man, it's gonna help your sleep, which ultimately, if you're getting better sleep, that's when your body starts to repair itself against cancer. All of the cancer cells that are made are corrected and repaired and drained and fixed while you're sleeping during REM, and not, REM and non-REM, not when you're, taking cancer medication, So
exactly.
I want to try to approach it from that side. And I think like people would get on board with that, instead of somebody trying to, anytime somebody takes like a supplement and makes a claim that it's like, it's beats cancer, that's a tricky word, both for, legal purposes, for pharmaceutical companies wanting in, and for, trust in the brand. So I just like to say, I like to pursue the sleep side.
I like your approach to that. Attacking the overall problem could be cancer, but I like the approach of going through sleep pattern and inflammation. That's the big ones for us in the fire service. I think the sleep one is number one to me.
Yeah.
More than anything else, because being in the truck 24 hours and you got 20 calls, and then go to home and then you hate the world.
Yeah.
It can prevent a lot of mental health issues with your wife, with your family. You can prevent a lot of alcohol consumption too.
Hopefully,
drugs.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a great approach to that, and hopefully politics doesn't get too much involved, and you can actually go through that barrier and jump that roadblock. Because I know that the IFF is suing NFPA for something cancer related. I don't remember.
Yes. They the manufacturer of our gear have PFAS in it, the forever chemicals that are linked to cancer. And the issue is that they believe that there is a conspiracy. They use the word conspiracy, that 3M and DuPont, the people who make our gear, have been making it knowing that this PFAS was in there and hiding it from us. So the NFPA is supposed to set the standards to protect us from these things, and they were actually enabling these companies to be able to do it. So it'll be the biggest tort lawsuit in U.S. history.
Yes.
So it's gonna take years to do that, but
it'll take years.
They have to prove that there is PFAS in the gear, which they have proved that it's in there, and they have to prove that it gets into our skin. Because right now, the Teflon in your pan, your nonstick pan, is pure PFAS, but it doesn't get into your food unless you scratch it. So it's like they always look at it like, oh well, it's in everything, it's fine. But the medical director for the IFF, Danny Wu, who's a South Floridian, he was a former Dade County fireman for a long time. and became a doctor. He's now the medical director of the IFF. He's moving forward pretty hard with the PFAS and the gear, and he's pushing a lot of research. And that guy's working really, really, really hard to show and find out if there is a link for cancer, that we stop it, and that we find treatment very, very rapidly and get funding very, very rapidly for the guys that have it. So we got to be very thankful that guy's on our team, man. He's awesome. I've spoken with him before.
And for what I hear and what I know a little bit, they got a good case, the IFF. So there's a chance that actually they win, and it will completely change the way the manufacture equipment, uniforms, take care of ourselves.
Right.
Yeah, it's a lot of things going on with cancer, and like I think I mentioned it, that in Europe that's big. The cancer prevention is huge for firefighters in Europe, and
it's good for them. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That's why they got I don't think I mentioned it yet on the podcast, but in Europe they use medical glove, and then you put the fire glove to protect you for extra protection. Their bunker gear is different. I don't know how. I think it's the materials, but it's thinner. You don't feel bulky.
Yeah.
So the layers are easy to watch. They don't. When they do live fire, they wait a week kind of to go back to the same to do the practice again. It's just because the residues of the smoke and the chemicals. So they're really trying to avoid any type of contamination or any source of cancer for them. So I give you props to them on that aspect of cancer prevention. And in Poland, I guess the tip of the spear over there, because there's a group that's fighting for. It's called the CFBT Poland. And those guys are going to Belgium, to the UE, to the European Union, Congress, and having meetings to change the way they do change even more. So there's a movement in the world. It just takes time and money and effort.
Yeah, it'll take a lot of time. And I don't know if you guys changed your gear. We changed our gear immediately. It was like within a year of that thing starting to come out, that we went to Morning Pride. We went to Morning Pride, and there's two gear manufacturers. I think it's like Janesville. I don't remember what the other one is, but Morning Pride and this other gear manufacturer have the least amount of PFAS. Every gear manufacturer has PFAS, but these two have the lowest amount, at least in the US. I don't know about European gear, but these have the lowest amount of PFAS in them. So we changed out all of our gear to that, and I believe there's still PFAS in the shell, and if there is in the inner liner, it's a lot less. There might not be any. I can't remember, but that was one thing that, fortunately, if you're in a smaller department, like you or I, medium-sized department, I should say, not small, but medium-sized department like you or I, we can probably get that done a little faster. If you work for FDNY, they got to change out 12,000 sets of fire gear.
Oh my God. The whole city.
Good
luck. Or like Orange County, or like Miami-Dade, or Hillsborough, or Tampa. They're huge, massive fire
huge departments.
Jacksonville is massive.
How do you just swing the axe and just get everything done in one hit? I mean, it's kind of crazy. But the fact that there are places that say, hey, PFAS is a problem, let's work on it quick, and the gear manufacturers that are adapting to it, I mean, I know they're making a lot of money, obviously, but they still are doing it. You know what I mean? We have to be thankful. They're working 3 shifts a day. They got people working overnight to crank this stuff out so we can buy it. Because the reason we didn't go with that other manufacturer, I believe, is because they wanted 2 years to make the 250 sets of gear that we needed. So these Morning Pride was like, oh yeah, we'll crank this thing out right now. You can have it to you in 6 or 8 months. So we went with them immediately, but that's one thing that I guess is the short term, is like change your gear out. Obviously the other stuff is, I'm all for training in gear. I believe we should be training in gear. I think we should just think about how we're doing it. If you're just wearing your gear to go for a run, I'm like, I don't know, man. Maybe if you're working out at the tower, or you want to do something functional in your gear, by all means, and I still do it. Obviously, you know, I still have to be able to do the job.
Oh yeah.
I can't do the job if I don't train in my gear. But guys that are going to go do deadlifts or barbell curls in your gear, and I'm like, you know, do you have to do it? You know, and you can make the argument either way. I get it. You know, you want to be able to be functional in your gear, but I like to do functional fireman shit in my gear, and then I like to do my workouts in my PT gear. You know, my just
You want to be less exposed to the gear, or just get a gear just for workout.
Yeah.
Or
you know, that
just
too.
after you work out, like I do. I
right.
got my wipes, and I literally have a white bath outside, and then get my shower. But at least do something about it. Don't just be that guy that
you
said years from now I get cancer.
You said an important one. The fire wipes. Those are really good they're proven to work. Shout out to Tara. She actually has a deal with fire wipes as well. From Flame Natural Decon.
Yes.
I met her at FDIC, and she had testing done on her soap to show what carcinogens were removed versus just regular soap and water. So when they tell you like take a shower, you know, shower within the hour, right after a fire or training, they show like if you're just in there using whatever freaking Dawn dish detergent soap you're putting on your body, you know, it's not removing all the carcinogens, because carcinogens have to bind to something to be pulled out, and there's all different sizes of carcinogens. So her soap is pretty cool. I don't have like financial tie to her or anything, but I met her at FDIC, and she became a friend of mine after I learned all the awesome stuff she's doing. Her brother's on the job in San Diego, and a bunch of their guys have cancer, a lot. So she was trying to do something. She went down this whole rabbit hole of soap making, and the activated charcoal soap that she's got has every important size of charcoal, so it can remove the entire range of carcinogens. So it can pull out CO, it can pull out benzene and all this other stuff that gets stuck on your skin. That just, you know, if you just get regular activated charcoal and rub it on there, it's not even as good as this stuff, because that's just one size of charcoal. She has the full range of sizes, which is important. So like if you see on her social media and stuff, when she's always putting like size matters, like she's talking about like all the different sizes of charcoal that she's got in the soap. But yeah, it's legit. So I always had this problem, like after a fire, my radio would always smell like smoke.
Yes.
You know, and like it's sitting right by your face, man. And you're like, what do I do with this thing? So I actually took she sells it in a bottle, and she sells like the bar soap. So I took a bottle and I poured a little bit on a paper towel and wet it, and just kind of like got it lathered up. And I would wipe the slats in the radio, the little lines in there, and I would just rub it and then try to, you know, clean it off like that. Pulled the smell right out. And if you can smell smoke, there are carcinogens off gassing. So with parts of your gear too, you know, that's one other thing. Your SCBA, your radio strap,
your helmet.
Your helmet. I love leather. I'm a leather guy. I get it. But your leather strap is holding in all that stuff. So either find a better way to decon it, or get one of those straps like from SGT, you know, like you can throw in the washer.
Cheap ones that you can put in the washer and clean it up. It's the same way you got a wildfire. I mean, we don't use CBA. We don't use protection. We just go and do some slave work, doing trenches in the
high speed gardening in the smoke.
Oh my God! Yes. And then you spit in charcoal from your nose for the next 3 days.
It's fine, bro. It's just Class A. It's just
yes. It's just you're cool, man. Bro. My face is black.
Right. Yeah, it's still carcinogen. It's still smoke, man. There's still CO in there.
You're coughing black, literally black stuff out of your nose. Right. And like, this is not normal. I shouldn't have these 3 days after.
Right. The only stuff that's supposed to be in your lungs is air, clean air. Yes. You know, not, you know, if it's got particulate, it ain't supposed to be in there. Yeah. So
I know a product too. I guess I'll get a free sponsorship here, but the guy created a filter that goes into your neck with a mask on it. It looks like a non-rebreather kind of, with a little filter in the back.
Oh,
and
really?
It's great for wildland fire. It's, I guess, getting big in Europe. And you can work up to 12 hours with that crap on. And it's like the big, the hazmat suit with the filter on the back in your hip.
Yeah. The
PAP, what do I call that?
The PAPR, yeah.
The PAPR. I'm hazmat. Somebody will kill me tomorrow.
The closed circuit. But, I'm not hazmat, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'm hazmat. I forgot the name, but anyway, they make that just small enough to go in the back of your neck.
Damn, that's cool.
Yes, and it covers your mouth and nose, so you can be all day on the wildfire without smelling like charcoal for the next 3 days, which is great. You want to protect your airway because people don't think about it on a
No.
wildfire.
No way.
They just throw you a helmet and a shovel
Right.
and your potato wrap blanket just in case.
Yeah, the easy bake. Yep, exactly.
Yeah, the easy bake, exactly. Oh god,
Kind of wild.
Yes, they don't have that in Europe, by the way. I ask a lot of questions. They don't.
They
don't.
do do a lot of wildfires.
Yes, but they send somebody else. It's not part of the fire department. It's part of somebody else. The same with technical rescue. Yeah, they do technical rescue, but it's not part of the fire department. It's weird. At least in Poland, it's weird.
Interesting.
But for them, works. Like they don't have a truck company squad. No, they all do the same. If you're a fireman, you do all that. Like old school fireman, kind of.
Yeah.
But they don't have a rope team or trucky. No, there's just you jump on the ladder and that's you. Which the ladder is like this size and it weighs 300 pounds. It's a horrible ladder system. And I told them in the conference that I hate your ladder, guys. It's not functional. It is not functional. Have you seen them?
I have.
They need 4 people to carry the ladder.
Yeah.
With the sticks on the sides and the wheels and some crazy, I don't know. Good for them.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like a Home Depot ladder. It's weird. I went to Germany. I saw theirs. They're probably very similar, but I remember looking at it and like, what is this thing? You know?
Yes.
It's weird looking.
And they don't use ladders. They don't use under tactics. They don't think about ladders because it's so heavy, it's so uncomfortable to take it out of the truck that they don't. That's not part of the tactics. Make eagers on a ladder.
Which for them, I mean, they don't go interior much, right?
No. So why? But yeah,
I don't know how much. I don't know how and why it got so different between continents. You know, so like
I don't know.
So like South America, Chile, I know they have a very aggressive fire service, and that whole country, from what I understand, is volunteer.
Yes.
Which is wild because if I'm sure you see the videos on Instagram, like the Chilean fire service, like these guys get serious fires and they're all interior.
Yeah.
And they have like American style gear.
Yes. You know, the same with Costa Rica.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. But you look at it and you're like, that's not America. And they have like American tactics. I don't know. You know, it's funny the way some places just make it a part of their culture. And some don't, you know, like, I don't know anything about the Mexican fire service. I know the Canadian fire service is basically the exact same as the U.S. fire service. It's probably because of the IFF. Yeah. But, you know, we don't have an affiliation with Chile. Or from what you're saying, Costa Rica is the same way. We don't have an affiliation with them. They're not a part of our union, but they have like very similar tactics. Whereas, you know, our brothers over there across the pond, they're not. Yeah, they don't do anything like that. Yeah, and it's weird. But I think Australia is very much like us. Australia has like very similar tactics.
I think so. I think so. Their tactics. Well, 2 firemen die in April because they have no RIT team.
Damn,
they couldn't get out of the. In Australia, they don't. Yeah, Australia. Jeez. They couldn't do egress, emergency exit from the window. They just literally stuck there.
Wow,
ran out of air. Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's
first
crazy.
World country.
Yep, and they don't have it. Well, they have a RIT team in Colombia. They don't have anything else, but they have a RIT team.
Yeah.
I'm from Venezuela originally. That's why I got a sexy accent.
Yes.
So over there, we work 7 days, 24 hours, and 2 weeks off.
Holy shit. 7 days in a row.
7 days in a row. Yes.
And then you take 2 weeks off. That's
driving insane.
Guys got to be dropping dead at 50. That's crazy.
Yeah, and the funny part is that you share your SCBA to the other person. You don't have enough SCBA, so you go interior. You're okay, buddy, your turn, and then you go inside, and they don't use it for car fires. That's a that's a benefit if you got SCBA extra.
That's sad. Yeah, I know Colombia has a lot of financial issues, so I'm sure it's mostly because of that. But it makes you very grateful to work and live in a place like the U.S. You know what I mean?
Oh my God,
we're lucky. We hit the lotto when we were living here. Seriously.
Yes. No, yeah, and that the more I travel, the more I realize that I'm lucky that I'm here, and I'm working at fire service here.
Yeah,
Regardless how cowboy the people think we are outside the U.S.,
I'll take it.
I'm lucky that I'm doing the job here. I
That's all
don't
right.
care.
Sometimes a
I
little
keep my
cowboy's
hand.
good, you know?
Put country music on the background and go fight the fire. It's fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that is funny. I always wonder about that, the perception, you know, like what other people, do they think we're all like
Oh, that we are
rednecks?
wild.
Yeah.
We are the
That's funny.
wild boys in the world.
Yeah,
That's our perception outside the U.S. That
that's right. I'll take it. That's good.
yeah, me too. Sure, bring it. But yeah, bro, it is awesome, and I love your work. I love the fact that you are one of the guys in the front lines, just pushing the CBD to help our mental health, our physical, even nutrition too, because you can actually improve uh, your nutrition with CBD in some point, or is help.
Yeah,
And I really
absolutely.
appreciate your work. Is I know it's probably hard and long, but you're working on it. At least you're trying.
I'm working. Yeah. Anything that's worth doing is difficult, you know, so it's worth it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
the
worth
same
it.
way with mental health. I'm the
That's it,
same. I'm
man.
just working on it. Somebody will hear us. Somebody will. Oh, let's
They
do
are,
something
yeah.
about it.
It's working. It absolutely is working, you know. Look at the numbers. But things usually start to get worse before they get better, you know what I mean? So
Yes,
we have this big swing back towards positive mental health because it's been such a problem, and that's what causes the attention. So keep at it, man.
try my best. I'm trying to talk to people around. I talked to a psychologist in Panhandle. She's an expert on first responders, which I
Oh,
didn't know
very
you
nice.
can. Yeah. So she said the same thing. Like just let's all keep at
Keep
least
at it.
make it exposed to people to CBD, to mental health, to cancer prevention. I think is a podcast is a great way to do it. It's
Absolutely. Yeah, man.
yeah. So if you don't mind, people want to reach you, want to see your products, want to anything. What is the best contact for you so people to reach you or
There's
contact?
two ways to get a hold of me really quick. We can do email. So it's John, Jon, at Rescue1CBD, and it's the number one, not ONE. So John at rescue1cbd.com. Instagram, message on Instagram. Myself or somebody from my team is always monitoring it. So a lot of times, if I see that it's a message for me, I'll just answer it right away. So if you guys message me on Instagram, I can get back to you as well, you know, almost like a quick
True
text
that.
message.
True
So
that. I'm a witness of that. True that.
yeah. You know, and it's a good way to connect with people. You know,
Yeah.
people are always on there. So even if it's just a question, you know, or you want to say what's up, there. I love to talk.
Perfect. And before we wrap up this conversation, what would be an advice so you can give to the new fireman rookie and to the guys about to retire with CBD or whatever you want to say in the fire service?
Oh, the rookies, man. There's so much advice. I have to try to keep it short, but the one thing I always tell rookies is don't ever forget how excited you were the day you first started. You know, because the passion that you have when you first start is so important to keep. It reminds you of why you do it. And on those calls after midnight, or maybe, you know, your contract is bad or you guys haven't gotten raises or things are getting tough. So just remember why you started doing it, and that passion will keep you going for a long time. Otherwise, the burnout will take over. And
Oh yeah,
if the
might as
burnout
well
is
move to
more,
another.
yeah,
Yeah, do
that's
something
one.
else.
And then the for the older guys, you know, I always like to say that the impact they have on the rest of the fire department is they may not even know how much impact they have on the rest of the fire department. So always try to set the good example towards the end of your career, because I'm in the middle of my career and I look to those older guys and I like to say, I'm looking at them like on how I'm supposed to be. I want them to be my mentors. So as you're starting to get towards the end of your career, you know, make sure you're still leaving with a way of making the department better, and just to leave the place better than you found it.
Nice. That's a nice, actually good advice. And who you recommend to talk to me on the podcast about mental health and all this stuff? Who you recommend? Who you
Oh
think?
man, have you ever talked to I got a few guys. Have you ever talked to Blake Stinnett? He
No,
runs
yeah.
the organization Next Rung. Next Rung is an amazing service and program. It's a nonprofit that is for firefighters to contact in a case of a crisis, and it's a text and call line. And Blake is a firefighter in Georgia, just outside of Atlanta, and he has volunteers that are all firefighters across all the time zones in America. So at any time, if you text or call, somebody will pick up.
Wow.
It's amazing. And they run only on donations. It's a nonprofit, but they're on Instagram, Next Rung, like a ladder, like the rungs on a ladder, Next Rung.
I'll look him up.
They've been getting a lot of traction. They have a very big following on Instagram. And Blake is just one of the nicest people you'll ever meet. And he loves coming on podcasts to talk about mental health stuff, but he's a big advocate, and he's helped thousands of firefighters, man. I mean, he's done a lot of really good work. He's a great person to talk to.
Awesome.
I'm going to send you his contact.
Yeah, thank you. I'll look forward for that, and
friend
got it on the podcast eventually, and that's a great, actually. I didn't know them about that. It's like the red line concept for firefighter down, kind of,
right?
That I kind of implemented. That something happened, you get like a full plan for your family and contacts, and that's awesome. That's what we need, and come from us. It doesn't have to come from administration or a big company to actually.
Not a lot of places have good EAP or have a therapist that they can go to. So it's nice because they're on the job, they can relate, and he vets all these people. He makes sure that they are clinicians, that they're or peer support counselors, or they've all been trained up.
Nice. Well, thank you so much, John. I appreciate it to be in the program. It's been a pleasure. Hopefully we can do it again, but I'm going to Boca Raton. You can come here, whatever. At least we're in the same state.
Absolutely.
Make it easy for me. Instead of going to 9 hours on a plane.
Yeah, man. Absolutely. Armando, thank you so much, man. It's been wonderful.
Anytime, bro. I will send you all the stuff when the podcast come out. And thank you so much for being here. And everybody to listen, thank you for all the countries. And I'll see you next episode. Bye, guys.